Welcome back, guys. And as always, Hot Mess Espresso is very proudly sponsored by 502 Media. But we have I want to say a new guest, but I was just on his podcast a couple weeks ago. So I feel like we're already very well acquainted with each other. But we have Joe Buck on the podcast today, who is a comedian, another podcaster, obviously. He is the host of Homie Love Hour. And yeah, what is up, Joe?
Dude, not a whole lot. Really stoked to be here. Thanks so much
I
for
know.
having me. Felt like
Of
we were just
course.
doing this yesterday.
We practically were.
It's very rare that I'm the guest and not the host. So this
Hmm.
is, kind of uncharted territory for me, but I'm really
It
stoked to be
is,
here.
yeah, it's kind of weird being a guest because your podcast hoster kicks in.
Hmm.
Like I definitely noticed that on like when I was on your podcast that like we definitely like it wasn't just like somebody that's just a guest. Like you can definitely tell who also hosts a podcast because one, we just know how to keep the conversation going one way or another and like filling in gaps and stuff like that. But it's also just we're much more comfortable on a mic. Like it's way less deer in the headlights. But yeah, no, it's definitely weird being a guest because you're just like, I just have to sit back and like answer questions and look good and just call it a day and the other person can do the rest. And it's so nice. It's weird, but it's so nice.
Dude, it is. It's so wonderful just to be like, I get to be the passenger princess this time. Like I'll choose the music, you choose the destination, and we'll go.
Exactly. Like we were saying earlier, my episode on Homie Love Hour just dropped. Definitely go check that out. By the time this gets out, it'll be a few weeks old. Go look around. It's worth it. But how did the name Homie Love Hour come about? It's fantastic, I will say.
Hey,
Catchy.
first off, thank you. It started off as a joke.
Hmm.
Originally, I was like, "Oh yeah." Um, there was another podcast that I was watching, and they were talking about names that they had kicked around for their podcast.
Hmm.
And I was like, "Well, if I had one, what would I call it?" So I kind of went over all these ideas, and somehow the Homie Love Hour really stuck.
Hmm.
At first, I was like, "Oh, haha, whatever. I'll change it at some point." But now I feel like I kind of can't as much as I feel like I want to sometimes. I'm just like, I've committed to it. People really enjoy the name. It catches you off guard, and it really is an opportunity for people to be vulnerable and to talk about, the things that we love and share them with the people that we love, whether
Hmm.
it's the listeners, the guests. Sometimes it's just the guys I do comedy with, just like being able to like be yourself and, not have to put on airs and also like laugh and talk about horrible experiences and all these things. It does a lot to remove a lot of those barriers that you don't fully realize exist.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, on top of that, like it kind of almost requires you to have like to have that vibe with that guest. Because I know
Hmm.
it started off as just friends, but obviously you've expanded into people you barely know, and it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. We are you're what, 17 episodes in as of
Yes.
this recording?
Yes, your
So
episode was number 17.
I know, I'm so excited. Like how has your growth, because I mean you grow a lot in that first few episodes. So what would you say has been your biggest lesson, especially being like a newer podcaster between episode 1 and episode 17?
Honestly, I'd probably say like being true to myself has
Mhm.
been a really big thing to remember because, it is hard sometimes to see when you're pouring yourself into these episodes
Mhm.
and you get, a handful of views, in the first week or whatever, wherein you have these people that are much bigger than you, where there's seems to be no real thought. Everything is like clickbait and, how can I cause controversy? How can I make people look? But that's not really my style. One, I don't like arguing, and two, I don't have the energy for that. So it's like I would much rather have something that is genuine and, an extension of myself. than
Mhm.
to try to create this online persona and, have to do that. That's a lot of upkeep, man. I don't have the patience for it.
So much upkeep, and I hate the fact that we're swinging more towards authenticity. It should have been there the entire time,
Mhm.
but now we're, like, swinging towards, being authentic and being, like, a de-influencer and just being real about things, and I'm just over here having been real to a fault my entire life being like, "Now we're doing this?"
Yeah,
But those are the podcasts that you're seeing actually get somewhere. Like, indie podcasts, I really think are, like, starting to take off a lot more than people realize, but yeah, what has been the most difficult part of staying consistent with all of this?
I'd say the most difficult part also goes hand in hand with the easiest part, which is being authentic,
Mm,
because sometimes being authentic means talking about the not so great parts of yourself.
yeah.
Or sometimes you go to watch an episode back and it kind of clicks in your head where you're like, oh, I'm not where I thought that I was. I have so much more work to do. Or sometimes you kind of just realize, like, I was just talking out of my ass in that moment. And, you
Been
know,
there.
yeah, and that's always the hardest part is like, hindsight is always 2020, and you always hope that the thing that you're saying at that moment is in fact like the best answer, but sometimes it's just the best answer to you in that moment.
Yeah, I've learned that in my opinion and as far as my oh my god, as far as my knowledge goes, helps a lot. So you're not saying things like as fact. You're like, from what I know, like, in my opinion, it keeps a lot of cease and desist letters off my shit because I talk about a lot of shit that like, people are probably less than thrilled that I yap about, but I really don't care because it's my truth. But to kind of switch gears a little bit, comedy.
Yeah.
Like like how did you start that? What goes into that? Cuz I don't think I've had a full-blown comedian on at all. I'd like to think I'm a comedian.
Hey.
I joke up and down that I missed my stand-up career, like my calling. Um because, half the things I say off camera that are just like that'd be good on stage. Little little controversial, but
Yeah.
whatever. So, what even got you into that?
So first, I would not call myself a full blown comedian. Like,
I mean, you're doing it.
I mean,
So,
yeah, but I always look at the people that are putting themselves out there and doing hundreds of shows a year, and driving across the state, sometimes driving to other states just for stage time. Like, I've been very fortunate. This month will actually make 3 years that I've been doing comedy, and I live in a smaller community,
mhm.
so there's not a whole lot of competition, which is both good and bad because I've had to kind of get better at my craft with no real point of reference. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we get to now, we've gotten to the point where in the beginning we were begging people to let us do shows in their venues, and some people were like, we don't think you'll be a draw, so no. But
Mm.
now it's the opposite, where those same people are coming back saying like, hey, if we pay you, will you stop performing at this place and come perform at our place?
Oh,
And
now you matter. Okay.
yeah, it's just like social media, where it's like, it's
Mhm.
about the eyes you're getting on my venue, it's about the people you're getting in the seats. But for
Yeah.
me, it's like, I would much rather stick with the people that took a chance on us in the beginning than to just abandon them to go to you because you're offering me a little bit more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, to kind of reference our episode, who's your Mount Rushmore of comedians? So we're like your big four that uh, inspired you to do all of this.
Ooh, my Mount Rushmore, for different reasons. Right now, arguably the biggest comedian on YouTube and probably social media is Ali Sadiq. I love his storytelling. I love his approach, and I can apply a lot of the things that have happened in my life to him. And I love his ability to keep you enveloped in a story the entire time. Uh, I would after that, I'd probably say Mike Birbiglia. Similar reasons, but he does non-linear storytelling, so it's very enveloping. It's amazing. He's also really really funny. Number three, just for the sake of how funny I always found him when I was younger, is Hannibal Buress. And then number four right now is Roy Wood Jr. He's so funny, and all of these people, for the most part, have very similar approaches, but their traits and their comedic delivery are all very different. And that's something that I can appreciate because, it's just like, your job or podcasting or anything else. Once you stop learning, you kind of plateau. And these people are always working on their craft. They're always working to get better. And it seems like every single time they put something out, they've raised that level that much more, which is always my goal.
No, that makes total sense. I've heard of one of them.
Yeah.
So I liked the dysfunctional like Christopher Titus
Mm-hmm.
has always, I mean, that dude, his shit's hilarious. I've seen him live. He's so funny. He's so nice. And then I saw him like 12 years ago when he was in Syracuse. Probably might be a little longer than that. I think it was like, no, I was 21. So like 12 years. But we love the dysfunctional family type deals. But it's really interesting to me how comedians deal with their trauma, because you don't have like a great childhood and a great life experience and then walk up and you're able to write jokes.
Yeah.
You're just not. That is all coming, like, sometimes you can from like just jokes about your marriage and stuff like that, but 9 times out of 10 there's some dark shit that they are either have already processed or they are processing. So is that a way that you process your shit as well?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely say so. I mean, it's kind of going off exactly what you said. Like, no one has a healthy childhood with strong bonds, and then you just decide one day, like, I'm gonna stand on stage in front of a group of people and talk about my life or talk about, whatever form of medium of comedy you choose. it
Mhm.
um it has always been cathartic for me because it has allowed me to take power back from certain situations that bothered me for a really long time. Like, there was a joke that I used to tell. It was more or less a story that I would tell over the course of my set about how I almost got killed at a bus stop. And it was by a guy that I used to tutor.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, he didn't recognize me. And, I happened to recognize him. It was, dark outside. I called his name, and it just so happened in that moment he looked at me and we made eye contact. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? Like, why are you ignoring me?
Mhm.
And I remember he took a deep sigh and he goes, I'm so glad you said something. I was about to shoot you.
I'm sorry, what?
And I was like, bro, why were you about to shoot me? And he was like, oh, you're too big to fight. Like, it's easier just to shoot you and run your pockets afterwards. And I'm like, I'm a pretty reasonable person. You could have just robbed me like a normal person. And he was like, I didn't recognize you. And I was like, well, do you still want my wallet? And he was like, oh, no, dog, you're cool. And then as we're standing here talking, his friend is still encouraging him to rob me. And he's like, no. And then he pulls out the gun and he goes, oh, do you want to hold it? And I was like, no, I don't want to hold the gun you were about to just murder me with. And then he's like, ah, man, sorry about that. And like, to him, it was just such a casual interaction of being like, you know, it was like bumping into someone in the grocery store. where you're just like, oh shit, my bad. I didn't realize you wanted the last can of ragu. And it ended up becoming a very tense situation because
Yeah.
he was now fine. I was relieved, but his friend was still very much so like, rob him. And then it got to the point where his friend pulled a gun and was like, if you don't rob him, I am going to. And he turned to the dude and he cocked the gun and he said, if you try to rob him, I'm going to kill you. And all of this is taking place on a public street. Like in the middle of traffic. This is Miami at 6 a.m. at a bus stop.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, it was one of the most chaotic situations I've ever been in. Um,
Mhm.
Fortunately, I clearly didn't get shot. His friend
Which
decided,
we're very glad for.
yeah, hey, me too. Glad to still be in one piece. His friend decided it wasn't worth it. So I remember even in that moment, I was still unbelievably naive because I asked him, why are you out here in the dark? And he was like, well, I'm trying to get my numbers up. And in my head at that time, I was like, oh, he's trying to pick up women. Not what he meant by any means.
Oh God.
Yeah. And then I went to school. I was on my way to school when that happened.
Was this high school,
Yeah, high
college?
school, high
Like,
school.
this was high school?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh my
I
God.
tutored him all through middle school. He was like 16 in the 7th grade when yeah, so it was a lot. But situations like that, for a long time I wouldn't ride the bus. I was always watching people, but talking about it on stage and showing people that like, hey, this kind of thing happens. It's not always something that it's not always a situation that you put yourself in. Sometimes,
Right.
you know, wrong place, wrong time. And sometimes,
Mhm.
like good people do bad things in order to survive. And that's something like oftentimes we forget as people, especially as we get more comfortable and more stable in our lifestyles of like, oh, I don't need to do that. But some people feel as though they do. And,
Yeah.
the end to that story is that 2 weeks later, he ended up getting killed. And his sister was my neighbor. And I used to cut her grass, which was part of the reason why he didn't kill me that day, was he said if something happened to me, he was going to have to be the one to cut her grass. So the idea of like jail, not even a thought. Prison, didn't care. The idea of having to cut grass in the heat of Miami was enough of a deterrent for him not to shoot.
That's just I can't imagine being in a mindset where you're so desensitized to that level of violence. Like, I can't. And then obviously you experiencing it is just I I would never take the bus again, honestly.
I didn't take buses for a long time,
Mhm.
and it's one of those things where, again, for a long time it bothered me, and it hindered my ability to live my life the way that I wanted. Um, but ultimately, I had to realize like this situation isn't unique to me. This probably happens to hundreds of thousands of people over the course of a day, every day. Like
Mhm.
some people are more fortunate, some people are less fortunate. But,
Yeah.
all you can hope is that sometimes that cooler heads prevail, or, you end up in a situation where you end up on the right side of those statistics. And, I've told stories on stage about similar situations or similar situations that have gone worse. And I've had people come up to me after shows and cry and say, hey, like, I'm sorry you went through that. I've also had people come up to me afterwards and they're crying, but they're like, I thought I was the only person who went through this. Like, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about this, but also you weren't preachy. You took the time to make it funny and to point out the comedy in the situation, because it makes me less scared to live my life. And
Yeah.
I told the story of how I accidentally went on a date with a guy. I had no idea it was a date until he asked me if it was a date. And I had a guy come up to me afterwards and say, "Hey, man, I thought there was something wrong with me because I went through a similar situation, and I felt as
Mm-hmm.
though I was less of a man because of it. So thank you for talking about this on stage. I don't feel like there's something wrong with me anymore." And I was like, "Brother, there's nothing wrong with you either way.
Right.
Whatever, however you choose to live your life, that's your business."
1,000%.
That's unfortunate that you ended up in this situation unknowingly and you took something away as if you did something wrong to end up there.
Right.
So that's like the main goal with my comedy, is to show people that, one, you can always find a reason to laugh at yourself, and two,
Mm-hmm.
to show them like, hey, sometimes life is just fucked up and all you can do is just power through.
Yeah, pretty much. I feel like all of us there's a good chunk of us that have some sort of like a traumatic story that we're just like, nobody else is dealing with this. But the one amazing thing about the internet and just overall is we have things like podcasts, comedy, live streams that are showing people over and over and over again that they're not alone, whether it's in their struggles or in their experiences. And I'm sure it hits you like a ton of bricks too, but it hits like a ton of bricks when somebody comes up or like messages you and is like, hey, because of this, I feel more seen, or I feel heard, or I'm like, I don't feel as alone and stuff like that. And it's kind of a weight, but like a good weight to carry, where it's like, I'm doing something, but like also on the flip side, holy shit, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it seems like that struggle with notoriety versus obscurity, because when you're
mm-hmm.
obscure, you can talk about whatever you want whenever you want, because you think
Yep.
there's nobody who's ever going to care enough to listen. Or, it's kind of like how you have sponsors. I don't have, I sponsor myself. So like,
Look, I did for the first freaking what? I've been sponsored since maybe April.
yeah.
So, and it was kind of a fluke thing of, you know, the owner of 502 Media just happened to come into a live stream the day before my birthday, found out that I had a mental health podcast, like wanted to come on. He's actually been a guest on Hot Mess Espresso.
Mhm.
And then it went from there, and he fully believes in what I do, and I am thankful, a little questionable on, decisions, but I'm thankful. But it takes time. You get there.
Yeah.
You absolutely get there.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes it's like you you kind of just say things for the sake of like, oh, like no one's listening, no one's going to care, so I can just say things. But there are times where I go back and I watch episodes to edit them, and I'm like, I don't even want to put this out anymore, because like from the time that I recorded that until now, I'm not the same person anymore. I don't even feel
Mm,
that way.
yep.
And I'm just like, this will go behind a paywall, and I will 100% talk to people about this. But I think the
Yeah.
crazy enough, the very first person to stop me was completely by chance. Um, I was running late to go set up for a TEDx. You know what TEDx is, right?
Nope.
So it's technology, education, and design. So like the TED Talks.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that what that's?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
See, TED Talks are just literally, I'm going to yap about anything and everything and not shut up. And then thanks
See?
for coming to my TED Talk.
Exactly.
That's what I understood it as. I never knew the origin of it.
Yeah. So there's
Huh.
TED, and then TEDx is like, the best way I could put it is like the franchise.
Okay.
So those are like the smaller ones. So I'm a part
Gotcha.
of the local TEDx where this year, or I guess last year technically, I was one of the hosts of it. So hopefully moving forward, that's something I'll be able to keep doing. But
So exciting.
it dude is huge. But
Mhm.
I get there and I'm running late, and I get out of my car. It's a snowstorm, literally snowing sideways, and I'm
Man.
running through this parking lot, trying my hardest not to eat shit. And I left the gym, sped across the county to get there, and I'm jogging down this ramp, and this guy goes, "Hey, man!" And I never respond when people yell because I'm like, I don't want to
Mhm.
be involved with whatever's going on. And
Felt.
and he does it again, and I look over, and he's like waving at me, and he goes, "Hey, big homie." He's like, "You're the comedian guy, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Bro," he was like, "I saw your podcast on YouTube." He was like, "I'm from Miami too." He was like, "I flew here just to see the area that you talk about." And I got
Oh my
I got
god.
super choked up in that moment because I'm like, holy shit, this person that I've never spoken to before,
Mhm.
that, you know, chances are we would have never come in contact with one another, found my episode, watched it, and loved listening to me talk about where I live so much that he just flew here to celebrate his birthday. And
I love that.
he was like, "I was going to try to stay for your comedy show, but I don't know if I'll be able to." And I was like, "Hey, man, if you end up being able to stay, let me know. I'll put you on the guest list. You don't have to buy any tickets." And he opens the door and he was like, babe, you hear that? You hear that? The homies got me. The homies got me. That's real homie love right there. And I was like, cool, man. But like, I got to run inside. And he was like, yeah, do what you do. Do what you do. And he messaged me
Oh my
on
gosh.
Instagram. And that was a moment where I realized like this podcast, I can't just let it be me rambling about nothing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And that was a big eye opener for me.
Yeah. I we all have those, like, little moments where we realize that we're doing more than we thought that we were doing. I don't know if you miss this, but sometimes I miss when it was, like, 3 people listening because it was like I could be a little more unhinged, and I think we talked about this, on my episode, but, like, now you kind of have to, like you were saying, you, you go off about something in an episode, and then you go to listen back and, like, edit, and you're just like, "No, no, we can't bring that up." So it definitely, it's a struggle to I missed when I could, like, lose my mind on the internet and, like, 6 people saw it, and that was it.
Yeah, I had one like that where I was talking about British people,
Oh, no.
and like
Oh, no.
I love British people, but I don't know why that day I was just like on one, and I was just going off
It
about like
happens.
some of the food British people have.
Okay, well, that's valid.
Yeah, it was. I ended up looking at the numbers, and for that episode, almost half the viewers are from England. And I was like,
That happens.
okay.
You're like, "Damn it."
Wasn't expecting that one. But yeah, I was no. All I could do was stand on business. I was like, I said it, you know,
Yeah.
the food looks terrible. I'm sorry.
I mean, you're not wrong. It does not, like, it just doesn't look great. There's no seasoning. It just I don't know. It's just
Yeah, there's a lot
I
of things missing.
not my thing.
Yeah,
Not my thing.
for people who conquered almost half the known world and took over like a spice trading conglomerate.
Literally took over the spice trade.
Yeah, and they're like salt too spicy.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I actually have I have a friend that, gives me shit all the time about anything and everything, and one of the things is, "You're so white that you think salt's spicy," and I'm just like, "I do not." It's a whole so for the record, Thalha, salt is not spicy, damn it.
I have a buddy. He's also very very white. To the point where like we were sitting in my car one day, and I have very dark tints. He still
Mm-hmm.
got the entire right side of his body was sunburned through the tints on my car.
It's
And
me.
I was like, bro, how is this possible? And
Yeah.
we always play to get him to do things. Well, we all do it. It's called What Are the Odds? Where we set the
Oh boy.
parameters 1 to 5. We let someone
Mm-hmm.
else choose a number. Whoever gets the number wins. Whoever's closest to the number. So
Oh
one of the
boy.
times he had to eat something spicy. Yeah, he passed out. Yeah.
I mean, my spice tolerance is really low, but I can at least handle like mild wings and, a decent amount of something in it.
No, I've seen him like I can't even make this up. He gags if he smells jalapenos.
Oh, I'm not that bad.
Yeah, it's like the spice
I'm
coming
not
off
that bad.
the capsaicin in the skin is just like too much for him.
Oh, man. No, I've made the fatal mistake of like, eating wings and then rubbing my eye. That burns for everyone. That's real fun. Yeah, I did that with Tiger Balm once. 0 stars. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I like had.
nice and minty under there.
Oh man, my eyeballs were searing because the thing with Tiger Balm is it stays on you even if you wash it off your hands. So I washed my hands. I thought I was good. I went to take my contacts out and and I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that happened to me one time when I was driving. I ate a sandwich and it had raw onions on it, and I was driving, I think, across the country, and I rubbed my eye with the hand that had touched the onion, and oh my god, like I've been pepper sprayed before, but that was really really bad to the point where like I had to pull over, and I'm like taking
Oh
my shirt and like pressing it against my eye is not a fun time. I don't recommend that for
no,
anyone.
no, this is ew. Oh God, no, 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 no. Switching gears though, we've talked a lot about music.
Hmm.
Did you check out Conquer Divide?
Yes, I did. I liked it. I have like some of the bands I sent you. I've been
Mm-hmm.
listening to a lot of Witch Club Satan recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then
I finally like listened to them a couple nights ago and I'm like, ooh,
yeah, dude, so good.
okay.
Yeah, and then I've been listening. I make all these dumb playlists, and they all have like really like silly names to me. But I have a pop
You're
punk.
just you're just an emo band.
Yeah,
Like, hello. Have you
yeah,
seen some of the titles?
yes. I've been going back and listening to like old pop punk bands,
Oh, so good.
and I'm like, where are half these bands? And it's like, oh, they're all fighting allegations. Got it.
Yeah, I'm literally like every time I see a clickbait thing, I'm just like taking a deep breath before I click and see who it is because I'm like, don't ruin my day today.
Yeah, it's like why? It's like, bro, you
Yeah.
could. Yeah, it's the whole thing. It's very disappointing, but yeah, I've been slowly incorporating music that you sent me into my playlist.
You, I love it.
Yeah, it's like I was in the gym and I had on like my heavier playlist. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like doom metal, thrash metal,
Mm-hmm.
fucking black metal, Witch Club Satan, and sprinkled in there is Chapel Roan.
Dude, I hate that the Pink Pony Club is like such a bop for me now.
Hey, it's always been a bop. I I
It,
listen
it
to
it
it.
has always been a bop. I was just trying really hard not to like give in to the masses. And then it was on my Kesha Pandora station because I'm going to see Kesha at the end of this month.
Mm,
And I was just like, you kind of like pregame. And you're going to a show, you know what's coming up. You pregame. And so I literally just it started coming on and I was like, it's good. It's really good. I refuse to like listen to the rest of her stuff, but she good.
it's so catchy because it's so good. It like
Have you heard the new Bill Murray?
like
Or have you listened to Bill Murray at all? I don't think we ever went over that.
Like Bill Murray the actor, or is there a band called
No,
Bill
like
Murray?
there's a band called Bill Murray, Bilmuri. They're like hardcore. It's the old guitarist of Attack Attack.
Uh,
So it's like hardcore meets country sort of, and I'm telling you, I don't know why I didn't throw that one at you, but he's good. His latest album and then the newest release that came out on Friday.
mm.
Really good. Maybe it was Thursday. Um, fantastic.
You know, it that kind of reminds me of like probably say like what late 2010s when there were all these gimmicky bands coming out. Early 2010s to
Lord.
late 2010s, where
Yeah, it was like mid.
it was like Oakley Dokley. It was like a Ned Flanders inspired death metal band. Austrian
Yeah, there
Death
was just,
Machine was another one. Like,
oh my God, I forgot about
also describing Bill Murray sounds like they should have stolen the name Job for a Cowboy before the band Job for a Cowboy.
that. You know, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. So who are the top artists that you've been listening to like the last couple weeks? So we've
Ooh,
been I know.
yeah.
I can't even say of all time. It's the last couple weeks.
Last couple weeks, oh man, it's been kind of all over the place, but it's been
Mhm.
Molchat Doma. I have
Mhm.
a playlist called Warehouse Goth Dance Party, and
Oh my God.
it's it's so good because I'm just like, okay, whether I'm like building my website or just
Mhm.
walking the dog or I'm just walking down the street, I'm like, this is really catchy and I don't really have to pay
Right.
attention to it. But either way, Molchat Doma, uh, I've been getting back into older Acacia Strain, Witch Club Satan, of course, and then um, if I had to choose a fourth right now, I've been listening to a lot of hmm, oh my gosh, Cheryl Crow.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
That one she's good. She's
yeah.
good.
I almost said S Club 7, but I was like, I only know the one song.
Hey, that doesn't matter. I think I know two.
See, you got me beat.
Like the S Club song and then Never Had a Dream Come True. Those are like the only two I really know.
I don't even know that one. I only know the S Club song.
Yeah.
Ain't no party like a
All
S
of
Club
us.
party.
Yeah. They're making a comeback or something. They just did like a show a couple of weeks ago.
Oh my god, that I would be intrigued because I wonder like which version of S Club 7 it is. Because I think they had like
Yeah, I don't. Was
three.
it S Club 7 or was it maybe it was 18s? I can't remember.
I don't know. I know the Spice Girls tried to do it, and then Posh Spice got pregnant again, or one of them got pregnant again. Then
Mhm.
they were just like, "All right, man, we're good. We're just gonna call it here."
Yeah. It's hard. No, I'm just loving that all these different like bands that we grew up with as kids
Mhm.
are coming back.
Yeah, I saw a podcast episode where Attack Attack is trying to put out a new album.
I saw that. But like is Attack Attack even like remotely the originals because I think 3 of them are in different bands now. I know Caleb heads up Beartooth. Then there's Bill Murray. I think there's a third one floating around in a different band.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be like Black Flag or Under Oath, where there's just so many different variations of the band. It's
True.
like God, what was the name of that one band? It was either Moto Grader or Magruder Grind, where there were so many people in the band that they would do two simultaneous countrywide tours where half the band would do the East Coast and the other half would do the West Coast.
Oh my lord. That's great, actually.
Yeah, it's like how come Slipknot never did that?
Because they needed all 9.
Yeah, someone has to play the garbage can. I can't do that.
Look, like if there's no garbage can, there's no
Yeah.
Slipknot. All right.
Yeah.
There just
You're
isn't.
gonna double up on the keg? No, sir. Not in this band.
Absolutely not. Not here.
Who have you been listening to recently?
Me?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up my phone for this. I've been listening to a lot of Suicide Boys and Dayseeker.
Okay.
For some reason, Suicide Boys is definitely like getting me pumped to go back to the gym.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. It just is. We don't ask too many questions around here. And then Dayseeker. And then Apple just dropped a playlist that was like And I quote, in honor of Apple Music's first decade, take a look back. Relive your all-time favorite tracks all in one playlist. So it has like my top 100 like listened to.
Mhm.
And let's see. This top 10 is going to make you giggle.
Okay.
Okay. Homesick by Dayseeker.
Okay.
Sleep Talk by Dayseeker. Feel Nothing by The Plot New. Former Life by The Underclassmen. Burial Plot by Dayseeker. Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. Fantasy by Mariah Carey. Nice Piece of Art by FM Static. Without Me by Dayseeker. And then Without Me by Halsey.
You know,
It is all over.
you know what your playlist sounds like?
I've been going through some shit. That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like two sisters on their way to the food court at the mall fighting over who controls the radio.
You know, you're absolutely
It's like one is going to Hot Topic and one is going to American Eagle. I don't know what stories are relevant for this day and age.
I mean, the funny thing is that is me and my sister, but we also went to both.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm going through this and like there are some songs that I don't even have on my phone anymore because like I'm past that. Like I have Kane Brown on here, which like Kane Brown's a fantastic artist.
Mhm.
I'm not like a huge country person, but like I'm just going through this. And you can tell because like this is 10 years of music put into 100 like put into 100 songs, and there are some that I know I put on in the last 2 months that are like number 39 on this list, and I'm like, okay. Like, it's fine. Like there's Red on here. There's, you know, New Hollow, which is a UK band. I don't even know if they're still like around, but they had this one song that just like clicked with me. It's just so I've been listening to that, but all in all, Fit for a King just dropped new stuff, so I've been listening to that. I've been listening to Kesha because obviously I'm getting ready for the show, and you know I gotta reacquaint myself. Good Charlotte just dropped new stuff. AFI's touring again, so
Mm.
you know my ass is gonna be there, and I just like, you know, been playing that like crazy. My best friend's band, the Underclassmen, just dropped a new single, so I've been jamming that like a mofo. Silverstein just dropped new shit. Suicide Boys just dropped new shit. Windwalkers, my best friend got me onto this artist called Pink Noise. Fantastic, by the way.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm just straight from the path, colorblind. I'm kind of all over right now. All over.
I just so I'm
I just
looking
went through my recently played and I'm like, wow, I am feeling all the things.
I'm looking at mine and for some reason it was like, "Hey, you know what you should look at? Your 2021 playlist." And
Oh God.
let me tell you, that was a very sad year for me. Man, so it's Hers, which arguably one of
Oh
the
my
best musical
God, I
duos.
haven't heard that.
Well,
Yeah.
they passed away. Yeah, they died in a car crash a few years ago.
What the shit?
Yeah, they were leaving South by Southwest on their way to LA, and yeah, they got into a car crash.
I never heard about that.
Yeah, so I found out from a friend of mine who went to South by Southwest to see them. And I was
Shit.
listening to their music, and she was like, "Oh, this is so and so," and I was like, "Yeah, like I'm really hoping to see them." And she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "Yeah, you know, like I'm hoping they're going to tour." And she's like, "Well, they're dead."
Yeah, you'll see them in the afterlife.
Yeah, I was so it's like it's one of those things where it makes their songs that much sadder to listen to because like
Yeah, it's like their legacy is being left
yeah,
behind.
and like I really also just really loved their music. So it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those things where I'm just like, fuck. You know, it's like reading literature from an author that's, you know, long since passed, where you're like, man,
Mm-hmm.
this person has such an impact on me. I wish they would have known about this while they were alive, you know?
Yeah.
But
No, 1,000%.
mine is Hers, Dreamer Boy, Claro, Francis Forever, Touche Amore, Joji, Q, Soccer Mommy.
I'm sorry, what?
Hey, man. Future Islands, Peach Pit, Purity Ring, TV Girl. Oh man, Turnover, Movements, Can't Swim, more Peach Pit.
Movements is so
I
good.
know. Boy
So
Pablo,
good.
The Walters, Tom the Mailman, Mia Gladstone, and ironically enough, Bad Bunny. Yeah.
I have heard of maybe I've heard of hers.
Yeah.
I've heard of Movements. I've heard of Bad Bunny. Mia Gladstone sounds vaguely familiar. The rest of them, I'm just like,
Hey,
what genre is this?
don't you worry. I'm gonna hit you with some playlists. Then
Oh my god, I can't wait.
I'll make sure they're not the super sad ones.
I actually have to send you this band called Nonsense. They just sent me a single and they were like, "Hey, we noticed that you like different like music like this. Like here's a song if you want to check it out and tell us what you think." And it's like pop punky. It fucking slaps.
Yeah.
It was actually really good. And I'm like, "No, I actually really dig this. Like this is good. This is like all right, cool." And I'm just glad that pop punk's making a comeback because like that was my bread and butter as a child.
Mm.
Avril Lavigne, I guess she was more alt. Simple Plan, Good Charlotte,
Yep.
Sum 41. Those were all the bands that just like, it was basically like, fuck the system. We're going to do what we want. You can't literally put us into some corporate box. Meanwhile, 90% of us are in the corporate box, literally,
Yeah.
you know? But it was just all about like being yourself and owning yourself. And that's really what shaped me as an adult. Now I still listen to this shit. I still rock the anthem by Good Charlotte all the fucking time. And still what resonated with me at like 10, 11, 12 still resonates with me at 33.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't want to be like you. I don't want to do the things you do. Like no, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, get a real job. No, this is what I love to do. Like, and it was just, that's probably why I was so difficult as a child because like what I was listening to was like, well, difficult.
Yeah.
I had an opinion. My bad.
How dare you?
But yeah, I know, how dare I? Eldest child with an opinion. Who would have thought? And I'm a Capricorn. Hello. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just so glad that music's making a comeback. I need to see Bowling for Soup like ASAP.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'm going to get around to it. They're touring, but they're not touring anywhere near me and it's not like worth the drive kind of thing. But dude, Bowling for Soup was like my shit back in the day. And then you listen to High School Never Ends in your 30s and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Like you're listening to it as a kid and you're like, yeah, High School Never Ends. And then you're in your 30s, you're like, oh my God, like they are not joking.
Yeah. Yeah, like I had a pop punk phase, of course. Like for me, it was 4 Years Strong, Newfound Glory, because South Florida always got to represent, and it was like 4 Years Strong, Newfound Glory. I would consider Yellow Card kind of on the cusp of that. Even like Cartel. Cartel was like they were like MySpace pop punk, I would say. And then like I got more and more into it, so it became like Man Overboard, Transit, Handguns, like all these bands, and I got to hang out with a lot of them. I got to meet a lot of them and work security for a lot of them. The Wonder Years, to this day, I will not skip a Wonder Year song. I worked security for them. Shout out Soupy, nicest guy in the world. It was the House Party tour, so it was A Day to Remember, Pierce the Veil,
Holy shit.
All Time Low.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Holy,
that
yeah.
was so much fun because like I worked the Orlando date, and A Day to Remember is from Ocala. I spent my childhood in Ocala. The Wonder Years I was a huge fan of. Pierce the Veil, I'd worked security for them when they had toured with 4 Years Strong and oh god, what's the name of that band? Ollie Sykes was in the band.
Bring Me the
Yeah,
Horizon.
they had toured with them, and then All Time Low. we actually have mutual friends. So it was like hanging out with all these bands, talking to them, and being able to relate to them, and just like shooting the
Mhm.
shit, laughing, joking, all these things. It's something that like I kind of miss because like I don't get to hang out with bands as much. But now it's like
Yeah.
I've just replaced that with hanging out with comedians, which
Right.
which is pretty cool because comedians are like a different group of people as a whole, and you don't really have to worry about someone doing something too crazy. But
Most of the time.
I was there when Johnny Craig got slaves tattooed on his head.
Johnny Craig has been on my suggested Facebook friends for about 2 months now,
No.
and I'm just like, this can't actually be him. No, it's him.
Yeah.
It's him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I've been, getting in with different artists and stuff like that for the pod, and just because the music scene's a lot smaller than people realize it is.
Yeah.
Um, and then like, those people pop up, and you're just like, this is just insane. Like, at the end of the day, they're just people, but it's just like they create such banger music that I've, loved and adored for years. And it's like you get that little bit of like, oh my God. And then it's like, yeah, they're just people. They're fine. Like, hopefully they're not douchebags. Like, we all hope, never meet your idols kind of thing. But actually, speaking of a few of those bands, did you see the A Day to Remember and Yellow Card? And who was the other band? Boundaries, and it's either Story of the Year or The Story So Far. They're all going on tour.
I would probably assume it's the story so far. Because story
Yeah,
of the
I was
year,
like, fuck, I can't.
yeah, story of the year, they would probably have like 3 songs to play, and
Yeah, I was like, fuck, this is why, like, when you're trying to think of and they all sound like, you know, you're just like, damn it, I forgot. Yeah, it's Story So Far. But yeah, they're all going on tour.
funny story. I was at the stories. No, not story so far. Oh man, there was another band. It was Story So Far's first Florida show. I was there, but there's a band. They were notorious for pretty much ripping off Title Fight. Um, they were
Wait.
they were originally called what were they called originally? Oh, I think they were originally called like Just for the Fun of It, but they got really really big for sounding
Mm-hmm.
exactly like Title Fight. Um,
No, I remember you, not you, but I remember hearing about that, but I can't remember what band it was either.
I'm blanking on their name, but before they got
I swear to God, the second I hit record, I forget
dude,
all of my brain cells are like, hey, speaking, we don't know it. Your memory, gone. Like, it's just, that's why I was like, it's either The Story So Far or The Story of the Year. I knew what it was. My brain was just like, I was like, you are not confident in your abilities to spit out who it actually is. It's fine.
dude, I get it 100%. Where like, oh, Basement, that's who it is.
Oh my
I was
God.
at Basement's first U.S. show. It was in my
No
buddy's
shit.
backyard. Yeah, is
Did you see, speaking of backyards, All American Rejects is doing backyard tours.
yeah, dude.
I'm like, somebody come to Western New York, damn it. I want to be on the list. I'll
Honestly,
go.
I'm proud of those dudes. Like,
Dude, they still to the he sounds so good still.
mhm. They like
So good.
he's one of those people where I can say all the times that I've come in contact with them or people associated with the band, they've always been really really nice and like very approachable. None of that like, oh, don't talk to me, like talk to my publicist or talk to my agent. But
Yeah.
it's really strange to me because there are a lot of smaller bands where they put out one EP and they start shitting on everyone around them, while you have like
Yeah.
much bigger artists where I've gotten to like sit down and talk to these people and like have lunch with
Hmm.
them, and they're just like, dude, I'm just happy that you're not asking me for money or like trying to get anything out of me. You're just here talking to me.
No.
Like,
That's the thing. They don't experience that nearly as much as they should.
yeah,
Like, just enjoy the music. Just enjoy them as people. Like, leave them the fuck alone after that.
yeah, like Cypress Hill, super amazing dudes. They were
Hmm.
so cool, and I was working like it's a once a year concert I don't even know if they still do it, but
Mhm.
it was Cypress Hill, Everclear, Tantric, and I don't even remember half the other bands. But I got to hang out with Art Alexis from Everclear and talk to him. And like I
Mhm.
grew up listening to Everclear, and like I was at one of their last shows before they kind of went on a hiatus, and I was at one of their first shows when I was a kid. So like getting to talk to him and just you know talk to this dude who has been around the world more times than I could probably count, and has sold all these records and done all these things, it just puts it in perspective for me, because I'm like, dude, this guy has done so much and he's still willing to be approachable and to be nice and to take time to have a conversation with me. And it's like, for me, I'm nowhere close to that level. So it's like, if this person can do that, what's stopping me from doing the same thing?
Exactly.
And
And that's just, yeah,
yeah, it,
you just got to go for it.
yeah, it's like what you and I talked about with like setting boundaries. Is like,
Mhm.
sometimes you just take the time to give a person a part of yourself, but not so much wherein you end up in a deficit or lacking, but enough where
Yeah.
you can just be like, hey, thank you for being a fan of mine, or thank you for listening, or, support over the
Mhm.
years, whatever the case may be. And, that's something I'm always appreciative of. Every time anyone takes the time, bigger than me, smaller than me, shit, you just taking the time to talk to me on social media, like on Threads, and come on my podcast, let me come on here, just like getting to talk to people and connect with people like in a genuine setting is a blast.
Like, I appreciate that, but like, it just always throws me when people are like, "Oh my God, somebody of your caliber," and I'm like, "I'm just me. I'm just yapping on a mic. I'm just networking my way through." And it's not even just like for the connections or whatever, because like whatever, it's I'm getting to know these people, and they are really awesome, genuine fucking human beings that I genuinely enjoy being around. But it's just, it throws me when people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe like you responded to me," and I'm like, why wouldn't I? Like, I'm just me. I'm just some like 5-foot chick that yaps on a mic and doesn't know how to shut up. Like, that's just, I'm just me. I have just like put the work in, and I have the drive, and I've got the, I don't know, I just kind of hit things right at the right time that's just like moving this forward and turning this into exactly what I want, which is to make people feel seen and heard and understood and not alone, like what we were talking about earlier. And it's like, I'm accomplishing that. So like everything else is a bonus. Like, what do you mean? Like, you can't believe I responded to you? Like, I'm not some big ass celebrity. And even if I got there, like, the only reason I wouldn't respond is because I got too much shit going on. And if my phone goes off one more time, it's going through the damn wall. Like, I literally did that a couple of days ago with, like, I'd put out like a casting call on Threads, and whew, the
Mm,
responses I got, which again, I'm so grateful for every freaking response. There were a lot of them,
yeah. Oh,
and I had to send out a lot. And I was literally like, I went kayaking that night, and I literally, my mom was like, "Are you going to take your phone?" And I literally threw it in her glove compartment. I was like, "Nope."
no, thank you,
At this point, the entire world can be on fire. I don't care. I don't want to look at a screen.
dude. Yeah, I opened Threads and I saw that and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
man, this is wild. And
We're not going to talk about the amount of prep calls I have for the month of July. I keep expanding my availability, and I'm still 3/4 of the way into August.
see, that's
I don't I don't know how many people are going to fit like the vibe I'm looking
mm,
for, because again, with the boundaries thing that we were talking about, I have to be very specific, and I have to trust my gut. So if my gut's like not the right time, or like not the right person, I have to be able to be like, "I'm not sure if you're quite the right fit yet," and then hope that they're halfway decent enough to be like, "Okay, yeah, thanks," or they're not gonna like be like, "What do you mean?" Like, just because you responded doesn't mean that it's an automatic yes.
yeah, dude,
And
absolutely.
it's terrifying, because I've said yes. I don't think I've said no to anybody coming on yet.
Mm,
So, but I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I have to be picky. I have to vet people. I have to like make sure that people that are coming on, I like a little like, conversation controversy, but I don't like the super controversial where it's like, is this going to get me canceled?
Yeah, I have.
Because now I am at the point where it's not 3 people watching.
Yeah,
I don't want to get canceled. Sorry.
yeah, I have.
So it's a whole thing.
I have an episode I recorded with a comedian friend of mine who's also a doctor,
Hmm.
and I went back to watch it, and I was like, "You spent the entire episode talking about cannibalism." I'm like, I don't know if I can like post this. And then like so that episode is just kind of been sitting in limbo. And then, with the guys that I do comedy with, it's our conversations get pretty off the rails pretty quickly just because we
Yeah.
feed off of each other's energy. And it's the
Hmm.
same thing where we record an episode with all three of us, and I was like, I don't think I could ever post this as part of like the podcast because I feel like this would undo all of the positive work that I've done. And I was like, this would have to go behind a paywall, or I would have to start a whole separate podcast just for this with the three of us because, like, there's,
That's why I started Friends Without Benefits.
yeah, I mean, also, I'm really excited to check that out and listen to more of it.
I'm so excited for it. We haven't even filmed yet, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, I've got like a bunch more comedians who want to come on, and then now like
Hmm.
other people who have podcasts are like, hey, I see like where you are, and like we have mutual friends, like could we meet up and record somewhere? And I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, like I'd love to. So I'm supposed to record in my buddy's tattoo shop.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. And then I'm supposed to go down to Denver to record with someone down there, but
Hmm.
I've also got like a lot going on, not with the podcast, but with everything else. Yeah.
Life.
Yeah. Today actually makes a year that I've been at my job. And then
Congratulations.
thank you. Then I'm in the process of rebranding my vegan company, which has been so fun.
Wait, pause. Pause.
Yeah.
You're what?
I own a vegan overnight oats company, but I'm in the process of expanding what I do. So it started off with just overnight oats, but now I'm going to be including dry oats, granola, compotes, candles, and coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna need the info on that.
Oh,
Thank
dude,
you.
I got you. Like, I was going to offer that either way. Like, I'll
No,
actually,
I need all the info. I like tell me all the things. I'm not vegan and I will never be vegan,
nah.
but I'm like actually actively trying to make better substitutive choices
Hmm.
that actually make sense that I can keep up with. But yeah, no, to be honest, you have a ton going on,
Yeah.
which
Well,
yeah.
that's not even all of it, sadly. So, like, I'm still doing this stuff with TEDx. Um,
Hmm.
I'm doing the rebrand of the company. And then I just secured a monthly comedy series at a distillery here. So I'm going to be using that to partner with local nonprofits. And then
Oh,
on
perfect.
top of that, I'm in the process of joining a board of directors for a local nonprofit.
Let's go.
So I also have to learn to start saying no. But, right now I'm like, a lot of what I'm doing and a lot of what I want to do tie into one another.
Hmm.
And,
Hmm.
like I grew up in a big city, and
Hmm.
a lot of growing up in a big city sometimes it's like you don't interact with people that you don't know. So a lot of people end
For
up,
sure.
yeah, so a lot of people end up lacking that community that they want so badly.
Hmm.
So, my overall goal is to help create that and facilitate it. So by using my comedy and partnering with local nonprofits, I'm hoping to help them raise money. Like, due to a lot of the things that have been going on recently, a lot of
Hmm.
nonprofits have been losing part, if not most of their funding. So if I can use comedy to help raise that money to fill that gap, that's what I want to do.
Hmm.
Then, the board of directors that I'm joining, I was asked, like the very first question I was asked was like, why do you want to be a part of this? And it's a heavy question to have to answer without going into like, you know, borderline ranting. But, I
Yep.
was like, this is how I feel. This is why I want to be a part of the organization.
Mhm.
If what I want to do fits what it is that you all are doing, then I would love to be a part of this. If not, then I have no problem, bowing out. And they were like, no, we want you to be here. We needed you to say it. So doing that and then being a part of TEDx, even if it's just as a host, and all these things that I'm getting to do, I'm unbelievably fortunate for. And
Mhm.
there was a saying that I heard someone say, of course, um, where they said, "You can't wish that your plate was full and then be mad about how heavy it is." And yeah, and that's how I feel. Like I
It's one of those be careful what you wish for type
Yeah,
deals.
exactly. And it's like, I wanted all these opportunities to help people and I wanted to be a part of the community. And, these are all things that I've wanted to do for so long. So now that I have
Mhm.
the opportunity, like, to me, I see it as like, why would I step away from it if I have the chance? Like I can do a lot of it from home. It's close enough where like I can ride my bike. I can go do what I need to do. So like, why not?
No, 1000%. I guess to wrap, like, one more question, considering the entire laundry list of stuff you just said,
Yeah.
and the answer, if the answer is I don't, that's also perfectly acceptable because felt. Um, how in the hell do you take care of your mental health and like take care of yourself with all of that?
Inner dialogue.
Mm.
I talk to myself a lot throughout my day,
Mhm.
and a big thing that I think we as people get wrapped up in is looking at things through only our perspective, and it creates almost like a mental echo chamber wherein it just reinforces your thinking process. Therefore, you think, well, what I'm saying is right all the time. And I
Right.
can tell you definitively, I am wrong about 5 to 7 times a day. And that's a good day.
Oh, yep.
So,
1000%.
so I, I talk to myself and there are times where like I get really frustrated about things. And then I'm like,
Mhm.
well, why am I getting frustrated? Am I frustrated about this particular situation or am I frustrated about something else? And I'm just projecting that frustration onto this situation because I think that it's tangible and easy. And then it's like,
Mm.
or am I just hungry and tired? So
There's also that.
yeah, so it's my way of holding myself accountable, but also making sure that I don't spiral. Because, when I was younger, I used to spiral a lot. And, it
Mhm.
led to really bad days and even worse days. And, I was trying to fix the world's problems without even addressing my own because that seemed so much easier than looking at what I had going on and even trying to make a dent in it. But it's like I can't I can't fix everything around me if I can't fix myself. It's like building a house on the beach. Like it
Mhm.
doesn't matter how much concrete you put, the foundation is going to shift and break at some point. So
1000%.
I gotta do what's best for me. And sometimes that means, well, not sometimes, every single time it means being the best version of myself. So
Mhm.
I can't make excuses for my terrible behavior at times. I can't just,
Mhm.
say, fuck it, I'm just going to do whatever. Like, no,
Right.
like I have to hold myself accountable. I have to be better and do better if I ever plan on moving up to that next level in life and, everything that comes along with that.
No, 1000%. I completely 1,000,000,000,000% agree.
And what about you? How do you keep it all together, or are you just like,
Can you tell we both host podcasts?
yeah, or is it like it's like herding cats where it's like if this one gets away from me, so be it.
I so Kevin Allen and Amy from Next Level University, fantastic humans. I've learned a lot about sustainable, just self-improvement from them, the holistic self-improvement. And the biggest thing was balance is bullshit. That came from Amy. And it's just like you're wearing a bunch of hats. Like, I'm podcasting right now, so that's the hat I have on. Keeping my house clean and, like, you know, the caregiver to the animals is not on right now because I have to focus on being a podcaster. And there are plates that you spin, and some of them are glass that you have to keep, like, if they fall, you're screwed. And then other ones are ones that fall to the wayside. And you have to figure out which of those plates are plastic, and when you do, and which ones are glass. And when you do, that makes things a lot easier because then you're not juggling literally everything. Some things just fall to the wayside that day. But when it comes to kind of like decompressing and stuff, that's why I go to so many shows. Everyone's like, you're always at a show, because it's better than therapy. I get to rage out. I get to literally lose my mind. I get to feel all the feelings, and I'm literally euphoric the next day. So that is my shit. My screamy music. Realizing that I don't have to have like the Pinterest house to be like, you know, make sure that my dog's taken care of, you know? Like, right now she's my biggest priority. She's in training, you know, I'm focused on her well-being and stuff like that. And if, you know, I'm exhausted from training that day and I don't feel like vacuuming my house, the house doesn't get vacuumed. It'll get vacuumed on a different day, but it doesn't have to be that day. And just, you know, prioritizing my to-do list. I don't have to have everything done. Do I have to have my book read for book club tomorrow? Yes, I do. So that's a glass plate today. But you know, like, the cats are fed. You know, they have clean litter boxes. The dog has been let out. Like, I can just chill after this for a couple of hours before I have to put another hat back on and, you know, go live stream or whatever. I can read my book. Like, it's just learning that certain things don't have to be, everything does not have to be a number one priority. The second I learned that, and better yet, the second I accepted that, things got a lot easier for me and a lot less heavy. And now I'm just like, well, you know, another day that I've got a full schedule and, you know, I'm not going to be able to deep clean the kitchen, but I threw the dishes in the dishwasher. Good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of been my mantra lately. Good enough. We're good. Like, it's fine.
Dude,
it's a freaking cat.
I get that 100%. You know, it's the whole point of a to-do list is to check things off one by one. You're never going to clear that entire list at one time.
Nope.
And that's something very important to remember. You know, like, looking at what other people have is a really good way to ruin your own day.
Well, I just think a lot of toxicity comes from you can do it all, on top of the fact that I don't think it was you that I was talking to, but it may have been. That everyone's like, you have the same, that meme that went around for like a couple of years, you have the same 24 hours in your day as Beyonce does. And it's like, no, I don't. Because Beyonce's got a team and coordinators and a manager and people do it. And I don't have that.
Yeah.
My team of coordinators is my uncoordinated domestic zoo over here that, you know, basically rearrange my house every now and then, you know, yell at me at 6 a.m. for food. Like, that's what I have. That's my team. You know, so I don't have the same 24 hours in a day as Beyonce. And I think we just really glorified that hustle culture where it's like, great, I only got 2.5 hours of sleep because I was up doing blah, 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 blah. That's not sustainable. Get your damn sleep.
No, it's not, dude. And like, running yourself ragged is one of the craziest things you could do, because
I've done it so many times.
I've been there too, and like I've done it, and so many times people would be like, when's the last time you took a breath? When's the last time you took a day off? Like, and they're like, you know, they're like, we're not trying to be mean, but you just look miserable. And I'm like, yeah, I feel miserable too. And they're like, well, that should tell you something. Like,
Yeah.
powering through when you're miserable doesn't really help you at all. And especially doesn't help the people around you. It's like, because when you have people in your life that care about you, that want to help you, and you're in this place where like, you're like, I don't want help, it puts them almost in an uncomfortable situation because they're like, well, I'm watching you self destruct. So, it's always important to take those deep breaths, take the day off of work if you can. I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not rich by any means. I'm not one of those travel influencers who's like, just book the flight, max out your credit cards. Hell no.
Yeah.
If
No.
you don't have it, you don't have it, dog. But,
Yep.
you know, do something small. Go to Dairy Queen if you're not lactose intolerant. Is that the place where they do the cup upside down?
Yeah, that's the blizzard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go get yourself a blizzard. If you got the extra money, get a blizzard and a glizzard. Get you a hot dog and some ice cream. Yeah, I don't.
But that's the thing. Like this last weekend, I took time away from my phone. I kayaked with my family. I went to a baseball game. And as much as I was so tired from doing so much, it was nice because I was away from my phone. I was getting time in with my nephew. I was getting these experiences with him. And though that tends to recharge me more than anything is hanging out with that kid. Because he's just, I mean, he also exhausts the ever living fuck out of me, but like, he's a kid.
Yeah,
They literally, you think I don't shut up? Like that kid makes me look like a mime. Like, but I was like that at that age. I did not shut the hell up. But, it's just those little things. It doesn't have to be some like big self-care day where you're like, doing your yoga and a face mask and this, that, and the third. Like, it doesn't have to be like that. Like, take like an hour and go doom scroll TikTok. If that's your version of self-care, that's your version of self-care. Go for a drive. Do the screamy, screamy music.
hell,
Like, none of my self-care is atypical. Not at all.
hell yeah.
Like, not at all.
That actually reminds me. I have a face mask I need to put on. I got it.
I also need to put on a face mask after this. Like my makeup is coming off. I'm washing my face. I am, putting the face mask on and I'm reading my book. Like
See,
that is what I'm doing.
see, I don't even wear makeup. My friends bought it for
Lucky.
me as like a joke. Like I have like the eye thing, and then like
Oh.
a face mask that goes around it. But I have such a big head where like
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure the face mask is not going to fit around my face.
Yeah, but it's still self-care.
Yeah.
You still need to take care of your skin.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Taking care of my skin is not an option. I refuse to have bad looking skin when I get older. So
Yep.
it's it's just one of those things you gotta focus on. Like just remember, like don't be so busy focusing on like tangible things that you forget about yourself. And
Mm-hmm. It's a hard lesson. I think I'm still learning it, but we are getting there, thankfully.
goddamn right we
But
are.
yeah, damn right we are. Where can people find you? Obviously, Homie Love Hour is anywhere you stream your podcast. Where else can we find like your Instagram, where the comedy stuff? Like, tell me all the things.
Instagram for the comedy and my personal stuff is bad_newsbuck. Podcast is the Homie Love Hour on Spotify, YouTube. I'll update Apple Music at some point, but yeah, you
It's
can.
such a pain in the
Dude,
ass.
I know, but you can find me pretty much there. Outside of that, if you find your way to Colorado, I do shows from Denver up to Summit County. High Altitude Comedy is the group. We'll be in Breckenridge, Leadville, Silver Plume, and we are planning a Fort Collins date coming up.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, outside of that, if you have any interest in some vegan and gluten free delights, the
Sure do.
company is called Black Oath Provisions. My website is feedtheritual.com. I've got new merch that I put on there. Actually, today I've got coffee, candles. If you want any oats or granola, just shoot me a message. I can mail things out to pretty much anywhere in the country. Anything outside of that, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But yeah, thank you so much for letting me be here. This was amazing. You can hear it's starting to thunder out here, but this has been, a fantastic way to spend my week or spend my Tuesday.
And yeah, so when this episode comes out, it'll be a combined 3 hours of the two of us. So don't miss my episode on Joe's podcast. And obviously, if you're listening to this, you did not miss Joe's episode on my podcast. But yeah, dude, thank you so much. This has been so much fun.
Dude, anytime. It's my pleasure. Thank you for letting me be here. To anyone who's made it through this whole episode, thanks for listening to me ramble. It's an interesting time. I don't talk much in my personal life. So outside of comedy shows and doing this podcast, this is probably going to deplete my social battery for the next 3 or 4 days.